So today I'm going to discuss I'm going to start the new chapter, fluid statics. So before discussing the fluid statics, first let us know what is the fluid. Fluid, the substance which can flow is called the fluid. The substance which can flow is called the fluid. The air or gas may flow. The liquid flows. That's why liquid and gases both together are called the fluids. Both together are called as the fluids. Okay. Fluids or fluid simply. The substance which can flow. The substance which can flow is called fluid. Is called fluid. So example, gases, liquids, these are the examples for fluid. Fluid statics. Fluid statics means the branch of physics which deals with the fluids which are at rest with respect to vessel. అంటే వెసల్ తో కంపేర్ చేసినప్పుడు ఫ్లూయిడ్ కనుక రెస్ట్ లో ఉంటే అటువంటి ఫ్లూయిడ్ యొక్క ప్రాపర్టీస్ ని డిస్కస్ చేసే బ్రాంచ్ ఆఫ్ ఫిజిక్స్ దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ద ఫ్లూయిడ్ స్టాటిక్స్. సో ఫ్లూయిడ్ స్టాటిక్స్. Fluid statics. The branch of physics. The branch of physics which deals with the fluid which is at rest. The branch of physics which deals with the properties of the fluid. The branch of physics which deals with the properties of the fluid which deals with the properties of the fluid. Properties of fluid which are at rest. Which are at rest with respect to vessel. With respect to vessel is called fluid statics. Is called fluid statics. So this is the fluid statics. The branch of physics which deals with the properties of the fluids like pressure at different points. Okay, what is the height of liquid column? In the case whenever the fluid is at rest with respect to vessel. అంటే వెసల్ తో కంపేర్ చేసినప్పుడు ఫ్లూయిడ్ కనుక రెస్ట్ లో ఉంటే అప్పుడు అటువంటి ఫ్లూయిడ్స్ ని స్టాటిక్ ఫ్లూయిడ్స్ అంటాం. We have to discuss the properties of the static fluid like density, pressure. Okay, here we have to discuss these properties. Next, density. It is generally represented with rho. Density of the fluid or density of the liquid, density of the gas, whatever it may be. Density of the fluid or density of the liquid, you say. Okay, suppose the given substance occupies the given substance means that may be fluid, that may be gas or liquid, whatever it may be. The given substance occupies the volume, say V, and mass M. Then the mass of the fluid per unit volume, the mass of the fluid per unit volume of it, that is called the mass per unit volume, which is called the density rho. So density is equal to mass by volume. Density is equal to mass by volume. Suppose if here here it is a scalar quantity because mass is a scalar quantity, volume is also a scalar quantity. That's why density is a scalar quantity. In CGS system, the CGS system, the unit is mass by volume is gram per centimeter cube. Because mass is measured in gram and volume in centimeter cube. So SI system or SI unit is kilogram per meter cube. Kilogram per meter cube. So 1 kilogram per meter cube is equal to how many gram per centimeter cube? 1 kilogram per meter cube is equal to 1 gram per cc is equal to 1 gram per centimeter cube. per centimeter cube is equal to how many kilogram per meter cube? You see, 1 gram per cc is equal to 1 gram means 10 to the power of minus 3 kilogram. Per centimeter means 10 to the power of minus 2 meter. Cube is there, full cube. So 1 gram per cc is equal to here 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube. 1 gram per cc is equal to 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube. So in order to convert the gram per cc into kilogram per meter cube, we have to multiply with 1000 kilogram. We have to multiply with 1000. For example, here density of water. Density of water. Actually, density of the water, density of any liquid depends on temperature also. The density of the water means at 4 degrees centigrade only. At 4 degrees centigrade in general. 4 degrees centigrade. That is equal to 1 gram per cc. What is its value in SI system? In SI system, it is equal to 1000 kilogram per meter cube. Because 1 gram per cc means gram per centimeter cube. 1 gram per cc is equal to 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube. That's why 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube we have to write. 1000 kilogram per meter cube. So 1 gram per cc is equal to 1000 kilogram per meter cube. This is very, very important point. While doing problems, we use frequently this relation. So density of the water here is 1 gram per cc, that is equal to 1000 kilogram per meter cube. Okay, it is about density. Here it is the uniform fluid, uniform liquid or uniform gas. In such case, the same mass, same type of liquid is taken. Then mass by volume is density. Suppose if two immiscible liquids are taken. Suppose if the mixture of the two liquids are taken. If the mixture of the two liquids are taken, what is the average density? When here it is called volume density also. Mass per unit volume is called volume density. Okay. Suppose when here in this note points. First one, when two liquids of different densities ρ1 and ρ2 occurs the volumes V1 and V2 are mixed together. Suppose these are the miscible liquids. Yeah. cc means centimeter cube. cc 1 cubic centimeter means centimeter, 1 centimeter cube. Okay. 1 cc is equal to 1 centimeter cube. Right. Okay. Here, when two liquids having different densities, ρ1, ρ2, volumes V1, V2 are mixed together. Okay. Then average density of the mixture. Average density of mixture. Rho mixture or rho average. Rho average is equal to average density of the mixture is equal to general formula mass by volume. In case of mixture, average density is equal to total mass by total volume. Total mass by total volume. So rho average is equal to total mass means generally the mass of the two liquids are say M1, M2. Then M1 plus M2 by total volume. First liquid occupies the volume V1, second liquid occupies the volume V2. That's why total volume is equal to capital V1 plus capital V2. It is the general formula for average density. If more than two liquids are there, then M1 plus M2 plus M3 by V1 plus V2 plus V3, like that we have to write. That is the formula for average density. Average density is equal to total mass by total volume. But here we are not given M1, M2. Densities and volumes are given. So we have to change this mass and mass terms in terms. We have to write the mass in terms of volume and density. So this is equal to rho average is equal to mass. Mass is equal to volume into density we can write now because density is equal to mass by volume. Then mass is equal to volume into density. Here in case of first liquid, the mass is M1. That can be written as volume into density means V1 into ρ1 now. So V1 ρ1 plus M2 means V2 ρ2 whole by V1 plus V2. So this is the formula for average density of the given mixture. Average density of the given mixture. If volumes of the two liquids are equal, if two liquids having same volumes are mixed together with different densities ρ1 and ρ2, what is the average density they may ask? Then average density rho average is equal to, as V1, V2 are equal, you write instead of V1, V2, you write V only. Then V ρ1 plus V ρ2 by V plus V, that means 2V. dV cancel. When you take V common, then remaining is rho 1 plus rho 2 by 2. It is the average density. Suppose if two liquids of equal volumes are mixed together, two liquids of equal volumes, V1 is equal to V2, that is equal to say V, are mixed. If two liquids of equal volumes are mixed together, then what is the average density? Formula for average density is same. M1 plus M2, because two liquids only there. If three liquids are there, plus M3 we have right. By V1 plus V2. Okay, M1 means volume into density, no? M1 means volume into density. Volume V into density. No, sorry. This case is already over. Next, when two liquids of equal masses. When two liquids of equal masses are mixed together, M1 is equal to M2 is equal to say M. In such case, instead of M1, M2, you write M1, M1 you write. So M1, M2, instead of them, you write M only by V1. Here, since density is equal to mass by volume, V means mass by density. Mass M by density rho 1 plus for the second liquid volume is mass by density rho 2, because mass are equal for both. So you take 2M by M, you take common and you take LCM. Then rho 2 plus rho 1 by rho 1, rho 2, no? MM cancel. Therefore, average density of the liquid, the average density of the mixture of two liquids is equal to 2 rho 1, rho 2 by rho 1 plus rho 2. So when two liquids having equal masses are mixed together, then the average density is equal to 2 rho 1, rho 2 by rho 1 plus rho 2. When two liquids of equal mass are mixed together, then average density is equal to 2 rho, equal volumes means rho 1 plus rho 2 by 2, equal masses means 2 rho 1, rho 2 by rho 1 plus rho 2. The two liquids are having different volumes and different densities, so that masses are also different. They are mixed together. Then average density is equal to V1 rho 1 plus V2 rho 2 by V1 plus V2. These are the formulas for average densities. Now, fluid mechanics and fluid statics are different. Fluid statics means we are discussing only the properties of the fluid when they are at rest with respect to vessel. Fluid mechanics means whenever the fluid is flowing. In fluid mechanics means motion is there for the fluid with respect to vessel. Here in this week we are not discussing that one. In this week we are discussing only fluids at rest with respect to vessel. Their properties only. Their properties only. Okay. Here this is the another case. Next. Okay. Next one. What is the note point? Second one or third one? Note point, second one or third one? Second one. Okay, next note 2. Suppose if the density here in case of the liquid, whenever the temperature of the liquid changes, because of expansion or contraction, suppose if the temperature of the liquid increases, in general, due to expansion of the liquid, volume increases. But there is no change in the mass because the same liquid is heating. That's why there is no change in the mass because of heating. But mass remains constant. That's why whenever the liquid is heated, then it's because of expansion, its volume increases, but mass remains constant. So density rho is equal to mass by volume, no? As the volume increases, mass remains constant, density decreases. That means density will change. Density will change. So density of the, because of evaporation, there is no change in the density, Mr. Varshit Reddy. Because of evaporation, here the liquid on the outer surface gradually evaporates, but the density of liquid does not change. Mass decrease, whenever it evaporates, means mass of the water gradually decreases, and finally total mass will be lost. Okay. Here, when temperature increases due to expansion of liquid, volume increases. So density decreases. Suppose here at a temperature at 0 degrees centigrade, suppose the density of the liquid is say rho naught. Density of the liquid is rho naught. At T degrees centigrade, density of the liquid is say rho suffix T. Density of the liquid is rho suffix T. But mass remains constant now. But mass remains constant. At 0 degrees centigrade temperature, density is rho naught, and at T degrees centigrade, density is rho T. But mass remains constant. So mass is equal to, what is the general formula for mass? Mass is equal to volume into density, no? So at this temperature, volume is say V naught and density is say rho naught. At this temperature, volume is say Vt, into density is say rho T. Okay. But in case of liquid, whenever the liquid expands because of rise of temperature, you see the increase in volume because of rise of temperature T minus 0. The temperature of liquid increases from 0 to T degrees centigrade now. So because of rise of temperature from T to 0, that means increase in temperature is T minus 0. Increase in volume is say Vt minus V naught. Because at 0 degrees centigrade, volume is V naught, at a temperature T, volume is Vt. So when increase in temperature is more, or rise of temperature is more, increase in volume is also more. That's why that implies increase in volume is directly proportional to the rise of temperature T minus 0. And increase in volume is also proportional to initial volume of liquid taken. Initial volume is volume of liquid at a temperature T, 0. Initial volume is at a temperature 0 degrees centigrade we have taken. Okay, therefore, when you come these two, increase in volume of liquid is directly proportional to V naught into T, or increase in volume is equal to some proportionality constant alpha into remaining V naught into T, where alpha is called coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid. Coefficient of volume expansion of liquid. Or you write gamma. You better to write gamma, because in books gamma is there for coefficient of volume expansion. So you write gamma. Coefficient of volume expansion of liquid gamma into V naught into T. So where gamma is the coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid. Okay. Here, therefore, gamma is equal to, we can write Vt minus V naught by V naught into T. No, Vt minus V naught is the increase in volume of the liquid. T is the rise of temperature. So increase in volume of the liquid for 1 degree centigrade rise of temperature means Vt minus V naught by T. By volume of the liquid at a temperature 0 degree centigrade, V naught. The ratio between these two is the coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid. So coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid, gamma, means the increase in volume of the liquid for 1 degree centigrade rise of temperature. The ratio between the increase in volume of the liquid for 1 degree centigrade rise of temperature to the initial volume at 0 degree centigrade, that is called the gamma. So the ratio between increase in volume increase in volume of liquid, increase in volume of liquid for 1 degree centigrade rise of temperature to the initial volume at 0 degree centigrade is called coefficient of volume expansion of liquid. Coefficient of volume expansion of liquid, or it is also called as real coefficient of expansion of the liquid. Real coefficient of expansion. Real coefficient of expansion of liquid. Okay. So from this, gamma is equal to Vt minus V naught by V naught into T. So from gamma is equal to Vt minus V naught by V naught into T, that is equal to, here at 0 degree centigrade density is rho naught, at T degree centigrade density is rho T. Mass remains constant. Mass does not change. Even temperature changes. Here there is no evaporation. Here we are discussing every point within the boiling point only. Because the temperature of liquid does not reaches beyond the boiling point. If it reaches boiling point, evaporation starts. There is no need of discussing this point. Because that's why before boiling point only, whenever there is no evaporation in the liquid, in such cases only we are discussing here. Okay. So mass remains constant. So here, because of density is equal to mass by volume, then volume at a temperature T degrees centigrade is equal to volume V is equal to m by density. We can write now m by density means rho T minus m by density at 0 degree centigrade is rho naught by V naught means m by rho naught into temperature T. So here you take m common and you cancel m. Then you will get m, you take common and you cancel m. The remaining is, you take LCM here. Of course, here we got 1 by rho T minus 1 by rho naught by T by rho naught you will get. That is equal to, when you take LCM here, this denominator term can be written like this, rho naught by T into, when you take LCM, rho naught minus rho T by rho naught into rho T, you will get rho naught cancel. Okay, therefore, therefore, gamma is equal to, that means volume, real coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid, or coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid. Gamma is equal to, from this formula, when you simplify them here, we will get rho naught minus rho T by rho T into T. Rho T into T. You do cross multiplication. Of course, this is one more formula. And when you do cross multiplication, gamma into rho T into T is equal to rho naught minus rho T. Or rho naught is equal to, you bring this rho T to left, then rho T plus gamma rho T into T. Or rho naught is equal to rho T, you take common, 1 plus gamma into T. Okay, this is the relation between rho T and rho naught. So it is the, because gamma is constant for almost all liquids, gamma is constant. Okay, then relation between the density of the given liquid at 0 degree centigrade and the density of liquid at a temperature T. The relation between them is rho naught is equal to rho T into 1 plus gamma T. It's very clear. When temperature increases, rho naught increases. When temperature increases, rho T value, density decreases because rho naught is constant. Rho naught is constant. When temperature increases, you see, from this formula, rho T is equal to rho naught by 1 plus gamma into T, we can write now. So from this, at 0 degree centigrade, density is constant. When temperature increases, density decreases. That means density of the liquid is maximum at 0 degree centigrade. In this equation, this rho naught is the maximum density. Okay. Here, suppose at different temperatures, in case of liquids or gases, as the expansion is very large, even for the small. Here, in case of gases, expansion of the gas is very large, even for the small rise of temperatures. That's why from 0 degree centigrade onwards, we have to consider the expansions. But in case of solids, expansion is not large at lower temperatures. So in case of solids, we should not consider the expansion of the solid from 0 degrees centigrade onwards. In case of liquids also, comparatively, when compared with solids, expansion of liquid is also somewhat large compared with solid. That's why from 0 degrees centigrade onwards, the expansion of the liquid is taken into account. Suppose at T1, at a temperature T1, density of the liquid is ρ1. At a temperature T2, density is ρ2, say. Density is ρ2. Then at any temperature T, the density is ρT. At a temperature T1, as the density is ρ1, from this formula we can write ρ1 is equal to ρ0 by 1 plus gamma into T1 we can write. And ρ2 is equal to ρ0 by 1 plus gamma into T2 we can write. Okay. Then divide these two. ρ1 by ρ2 is equal to this by this. Then you will get 1 plus gamma T2 by 1 plus gamma T1 you will get. Okay, do cross multiplication. When you do cross multiplication, then ρ1 plus gamma ρ1 into T1 is equal to ρ2 plus cross multiplication. ρ2 plus gamma ρ2 into T2. Okay, we need gamma. That's why here is ρ1 is more or ρ2 is more. It is at lower temperature. At lower temperature, as the volume is less, density is more. That's why ρ1 is less than ρ2. That's why you bring ρ2 to left and this you bring to right. So therefore, ρ1 minus ρ2 is equal to, you bring to right and you take gamma common. Then ρ2 T2 minus ρ1 T1. Okay. Therefore, that implies we need gamma. Gamma is equal to, it is the say gamma. Gamma is equal to ρ1 minus ρ2 by ρ2 T2 minus ρ1 T1. This is the, suppose if you are given the densities of the liquid at different temperatures T1 and T2, then to find the gamma, that means volume coefficient of the liquid or coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid, we use the formula ρ1 minus ρ2 by ρ2 T2 minus ρ2, ρ1 minus ρ2 by ρ2 T2 minus ρ1 T1. Okay, or if you are given the density at 0 degrees centigrade and they ask to find what is the density at a temperature T, means we use the formula ρ T is equal to ρ0 by 1 plus gamma into T. So from this it is clear that in general, when the temperature increases because of expansion, density decreases. So therefore, when temperature increases, density decreases in general. So it is the dependence of the density on temperature. What is the note point next? I think third note point was completed. No? Third was completed. Okay, third was completed. Fourth to be taught. Third to be discussed. Okay. Next. Third one. Third note point. Suppose in a vessel, two immiscible liquids are mixed together. Two immiscible, that means the liquids cannot be mixed together. Two immiscible liquids are mixed. Two immiscible liquids are taken in a vessel. Suppose this is one liquid, this is another liquid having different densities ρ1 and ρ2. Then what is the relation between ρ1 and ρ2? These two liquids are immiscible. So when two immiscible liquids like kerosene and water, you take kerosene and water, you pour the kerosene and water in the same vessel. Okay, then Their densities are rho 1, rho 2. So what is the relation between rho 1 and rho 2? Yeah, oil and water, kerosene and water. Okay, we can take. When two liquids are taken like this, the liquid having density rho 1 is settled over the surface of the liquid of density rho 2. Then what is the relation between rho 1 and rho 2? Which is greater? Is rho 1 is more or rho 2 is more? Which is more? Rho 2 is more because rho 2 is more because a liquid having more density always reaches the bottom. If you keep any body having more density than that of the liquid, that slowly settles at the bottom. That means liquid having more density reaches the bottom of the vessel, and liquid having less density reaches the top of the vessel. That's why here, as this liquid of density rho 2 is reached the bottom compared with rho 1, then definitely rho 2 greater than rho 2. That's rho 2 greater than rho 1. So here rho 2 greater than rho 1. That means the liquid whose density is more settles at the bottom. Therefore, the liquid whose density is more settles at the bottom. Settles at the bottom. Of course, this is the common point only. Okay. Next, fourth one. Suppose n different substances having mass, n different substances are liquids having masses m1, m2, and so on mn, having volumes v1, v2, v3, and so on vn, and densities rho 1, rho 2, rho 3, and so on, mixed together, the density of the mixture. Suppose here n different substances may be liquids or gases, and different substances having different masses m1, m2, m3, and so on mn, different masses, different densities rho 1, rho 2, rho 3, and so on rho n, are mixed together in different volumes. The first liquid is having mass m1, density rho 1, and volume v1. The last liquid, nth liquid, because n different substances or liquids are there. So nth liquid is having mass m1, density rho 1, rho n, and volume vn. Here, all these liquids are mixed together in a vessel. They are mixed together. These are not immiscible. They are miscible. But there is no chemical reaction, but they are mixed together. Then what is the average density of the mixture? Average density of mixture. Rho average is equal to total mass of all liquids, m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus and so on. N liquids are mixed together. N liquids by total mass by total volume. That is the average density. Total volume is v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus and so on vn. Okay, therefore rho average, that means average density of the mixture, is equal to, here if m1, m2, v1, v2 something are given, we have write the formula like this. If rho 1, v1 are given, m1, m2 are not given, in such case m1 can be written as mass is equal to volume into density, no? So v1 rho 1, m2 means v2 rho 2 plus and so on vn rho n whole by v1 plus v2 plus and so on vn. It is the average density. Okay, already for two liquids I said. Okay. Next, one more here. One example. If n liquids having densities, rho, 2 rho, 3 rho, and so on, n rho. If n liquids having densities rho, 2 rho, 3 rho, and so on, n rho, having volumes V, 2V, 3V, and so on, NV, are mixed together. Then what about the average density of the mixture? Then average density of mixture. Average density of the mixture is how much? Okay, here therefore you see average density is equal to total mass of for n liquids Mn by total volume V1 plus V2 plus and so on Vn. Total mass means volume into density M1 rho 1 plus V1 rho 1 plus V2 rho 2 plus and so on Vn rho n by V1 plus V2 plus and so on Vn. So we substitute the data. V1 means V, rho 1 means rho. So V rho plus V2 rho 2. V2 rho 2 means 2V into 2 rho plus and so on. NV into N rho whole by here V plus 2V plus and so on NV. Here in this, it is V. In all terms, we can take V common, no? 0 common, no? 0 you take common. Here 1 plus 2 square plus 3 square plus and so on n square. That means 1 square plus 2 square plus and so on n square you will have. But here when you take V common, then we will have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus and so on plus n. So VV cancel. So rho into rho average is equal to rho into here 1 square plus 2 square plus and so on n square means we can write n into n minus 1 into 2n minus 1 whole by 6. Okay, by 1 plus 2 plus 3 means they are in AP. Sum of n terms in AP is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. No? Therefore, average density is equal to here n cancel. We can cancel. So remaining is, what is the remaining value? Sorry, here n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1. No, it is n into n plus 1 2n plus 1 by 6. Here n plus 1 cancel. Therefore, you write this 2 in the numerator, then 2 rho into 2n plus 1 by here by 6 is there, no? By 6. Of course, 2 3s are. Therefore, average density is equal to rho into 2n plus 1 by 3. It is the formula for average density in this case. Rho into 2n plus 1 by 3. Rho into 2n plus 1 by 3. That is the average density. Okay. Okay, next. So this is regarding the density in different cases. Next, specific gravity. Next heading. Specific gravity. That is represented with K. So when you compare the density of the given liquid or given body with respect to water, that is called the specific gravity of the given substance or given water, liquid. The density of the given substance with respect to water is called the specific gravity of the given substance. Okay. The density of the density of substance means maybe liquid or solid, water it may be. Liquid you take because we are discussing fluid statics. The density of the substance with respect to water is called specific gravity. Okay, therefore specific gravity K is equal to density of the given substance or density of the given substance by or density of the body by density of the water or density of the substance, body or liquid, water it may be. Density of substance by density of the water. So as here the specific gravity is the ratio between the two similar parameters. The specific gravity is having no unit and no dimensions also. Okay, therefore Specific gravity is equal to density of the substance by density of the water, or density of the liquid by density of the water. That is called the specific gravity. Density of the substance by density of the water. Okay. Next. So when you express the density of the water in CAS system, density of the water is 1 gram per cc, no? Then whatever the density of the given substance in cc, that is numerically equal to specific gravity of the given substance. Numerically, specific gravity is equal to density of the substance in gram per cc. Specific gravity is equal to rho s, that means density of the substance in gram per cc. Numerically, K is equal to rho s in gram per cc, because since density of the water is equal to 1 gram per cc. So when you express the density in gram per cc, then it is gram per cc. Suppose density of the substance is equal to say 2 gram per cc. Density of the water is 1 gram per cc. 2 by 1, 2. That's why numerically K is equal to 2, means that is the numerical value of density of the substance. So when you express the density of the substance in gram per cc, that is numerically equal to the specific gravity of the given substance. Okay. Next, relative density. Relative density. Relative density. Relative density means density of one substance with respect to other. Density of one with respect to two. Density of one with respect to two. That is equal to relative density. Our relative density is the ratio between the two different densities. So what is the density of this body with respect to the second liquid? That is how much? Density of the first liquid with respect to second is how much? That is called the relative density. Relative density is also the ratio of the two similar quantities. That's why relative density is also having no unit and no dimension formula. No unit and no dimensions. No dimensions. It is about relative density. Okay, next. Specific weight. Specific weight. Specific weight means the weight of the substance per unit volume. Weight of the body per unit volume of weight of the body per its unit volume is called specific weight. Weight of the substance per unit volume. Weight of substance per unit volume is called specific weight. Here, specific weight. Specific weight means, you see, weight of the substance means liquid or solid, whatever it may be. Weight of the substance, suppose the mass of the substance is m at this place, where acceleration due to gravity is g. Then weight of the substance is equal to mg. Having volume capital V, because weight by volume, no? Weight per unit volume is weight by volume. So weight is mg by volume. So therefore specific weight is equal to mass by volume means density, no? Density into acceleration due to gravity at that place. This is called the specific weight of the given substance. So what is the SI unit of the specific weight? SI unit. SI unit of the specific weight means weight by volume. Weight means, unit, no? Weight means Newton, by volume means meter cube. Newton per meter cube. What is the dimensional formula? Dimensional formula. You see, density means mass by volume. Mass by volume means L cube into G. That is the acceleration due to gravity or acceleration. Acceleration means L to the power of -2. Therefore, dimensional formula is m L to the power of -2 t to the power of -2. M L to the power of -2 t to the power of -2 you will get now. So that is the specific weight of the given body. That is the specific weight. That is, it is not having any symbol. It is not having any symbol. You write like this only. specificate has no particular symbol. Okay, because rarely we use this concept. Next. Pressure. Suppose here the density of liquid varies with the distance from the top. Density of the liquid varies considerably with the distance from the top. In such case, what about the okay? In case of pressure only, no. So after pressure definition, we will discuss. Then we will do this problem. So here, pressure. Suppose you see, what is the pressure? What is the pressure? Force acts on unit normal area. Force acts on unit normal area is called pressure. Force acts per unit tangential area, that is called shearing stress. Tangential force acts per unit area is called tangential stress. Force acts on unit normal area is called the pressure or longitudinal pressure, we can say, or longitudinal stress. Okay, that's why force per unit normal area. Force per unit normal area. Normal surface area, surface area is called pressure. Pressure due to liquid column is called hydrostatic pressure. Pressure due to liquid column is called pressure due to liquid column alone is called gauge pressure also. GAUZ, gauge pressure. Or hydrostatic pressure. Okay, you see, suppose here in a vessel we have taken the liquid. In a vessel, suppose this is the vessel. We have taken the liquid up to certain height. We have taken the liquid up to certain height. Small h. Okay. So what is the pressure due to this liquid column at the bottom? At the bottom, what is the pressure? We need. Only pressure due to liquid column only we have to find. Pressure due to liquid column only. So pressure due to liquid column. P is equal to pressure due to liquid column means you see here up to this, what is the weight of the liquid column? Up to this, because this height is very small compared with the radius of the earth. That's why acceleration due to gravity here at every point in the liquid is same. If the total mass of the liquid is say m, total mass of the liquid, suppose the area of cross section of the vessel is say capital A. The area of cross section of the vessel is say capital A. Then here, whatever the weight of this liquid acts at the bottom, that is the force by normal area. Force is acting in downward direction, whereas the bottom surface is perpendicular to this force. That's why normal area is equal to this only, no? Normal area is equal to this only. Normal area is equal to this only. Okay, therefore, pressure is equal to weight of liquid by weight of liquid. Pressure due to liquid column at its bottom, is equal to weight of liquid by area of the bottom surface. Area of bottom surface. Weight of liquid column means suppose the mass of the entire liquid column is say m. m into acceleration due to gravity acts on the liquid column at this place is g. mz is the weight by area of the bottom surface is a. Or area of the cylindrical vessel is a capital A. That is the area of the bottom surface also. And weight means mass is not given. When mass is not given, you see, this mass of the liquid column is equal to, here you see, whenever the liquid is taken in a cylindrical vessel, the shape of the liquid is also same now. Because in which vessel the liquid is taken, the liquid occupies the shape of the container. That's why here the liquid occupies the cylindrical shape. Okay, that's why area of cross section of the liquid column is same. The liquid column is also in the cylindrical shape, having area of cross section capital A. Area of cross section capital A into height of the liquid column gives volume of the liquid column here into density of the liquid column rho gives mass into acceleration due to gravity by A. Therefore, pressure P is equal to A cancel, then H rho 0. So from this it is clear that the pressure is directly proportional to depth. అంటే ఈ సర్ఫేస్ నుంచి బాటం వరకు ఎంత డెప్త్ ఉందో ఆ డెప్త్ ఇక్కడ పనిచేసే ప్రెజర్ మనం ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తుంది. At this point we calculated the pressure at this point. That's why this bottom surface at which pressure is calculated is at a depth h from the surface of the liquid. So from the surface of the liquid in a vessel, the bottom surface is at a depth h. That's why the pressure depends on the depth of the liquid. So pressure is directly proportional to height of the liquid column or depth of the liquid column. Depth. Also proportional to density of the liquid. If density is more, pressure at this bottom is more. And of course, at that place, acceleration due to gravity. So this is the dependence of the pressure on various parameters. So what is the SI unit of pressure? SI unit. SI unit of pressure means general formula for pressure is force by area. Weight of liquid means force. Gravitational force by area. Force means Newton, by area means meter square. So Newton per meter square, that is also called as the Pascal. When you write in abbreviation form, capital P, small a, it is the SI unit of the pressure. Serious unit, of course, dyne per square centimeter. Okay, what is the relation between this Pascal and dyne per square centimeter? Serious unit is dyne per centimeter square. So what is the relation between these two? Next, what about the dimension? First, we write the relation between these two. 1 Newton per meter square is equal to, Newton means 10 to the power of 5 times, we know. By meter square means 10 to the power of 2 centimeter square, 10 to the power of 4 centimeter square. That is equal to 10 dyne per square centimeter, no? Square centimeter or centimeter square. So it is the relation between 1 Newton per meter square and dyne per square centimeter. So 1 Newton per meter square is equal to 10 dyne per square centimeter. Suppose if you want to convert the Newton per meter square into dyne per square centimeter, you have to multiply with 10. You have to multiply with that's Sriram. So whenever the submarines are at more depth, pressure will increase. Because when depth increases, pressure increases. When pressure increases, the surface of the submarines are pushed inwards. Due to that, cracks may occur. That's why based on the thickness of the metal used and the type of nature of the metal used, what is the maximum force that can be beared by the surface of the submarine? That will be decided. So based on that, up to what depth the submarine can travel, up to what depth the submarine can reside inside the water, that will be decided. That submarine will not go beyond that depth. That is fixed. Okay, of course, Ghazi movie is also there. In the Ghazi movie, that point is touched in that movie. When depth is more, pressure is very less. Pressure increases. Due to that, the submarine make cracks and water enter into the submarine. Due to that, the total the people inside the submarine may die. Okay, right. So here, 1 Newton per meter square is equal to 10 dyne per square centimeter. Next, what is the dimension formula? Already I said the dimension formula. No need to discuss again. Okay, this is the pressure. So here, note point. First one. Suppose in a cylindrical vessel, liquid is taken up to certain height, up to depth, up to certain height. Liquid is taken up to certain height. Okay, H. Then what is the pressure here? The cylindrical vessel whose top is open to atmosphere. That's why atmosphere pressure acts now. Atmosphere pressure P naught. Atmospheric pressure is generally represented with P naught. P naught is the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. So here on the surface of the water, surface of the liquid in a beaker, atmospheric pressure acts. Whenever on the surface of the liquid, when atmospheric pressure acts, at each and every point in the liquid surface, the same pressure will act. In addition to pressure of the pressure due to liquid. Okay, that's why at the bottom pressure due to liquid means H rho z because of this depth. Here this is not height. It is the depth of the liquid that is important. H is the depth. H is the depth, not height of liquid. So suppose at this point, if you want to find the pressure, so at what depth this point is there from the surface of the liquid, that depth into rho z. Okay, it is the case whenever density of the liquid remains constant. Even pressure increases when you go to depth. If the density remains constant, in such cases only it is correct. If density also changes according to the depth, then we have to use by integration method. We have to calculate the pressure. Okay. So here P naught is the atmospheric pressure. Then what is the total pressure at this bottom? Total pressure at the bottom is how much? Total pressure at the bottom. Total pressure at the bottom. P is equal to, here on the surface of the liquid when atmospheric pressure acts, this atmospheric pressure is transferred to each and every point in the liquid also. That's why even at this point, at bottom, this pressure P naught acts, and at the same time due to depth of the liquid column also pressure acts. That's why atmospheric pressure P naught acts at this point. ఇక్కడ P naught pressure పనిచేస్తుంది, ఆ pressure P naught ఇక్కడ కూడా పనిచేస్తుంది. కాబట్టి P naught plus pressure due to liquid column. ఎందుకంటే at this point they asked the pressure. That's why at this point what is the pressure due to liquid column is H rho z. That's why H into density of liquid into C. It is the total pressure at the bottom of the vessel. Total pressure at the bottom of the vessel. Where H is the vertical height of the liquid column only. That is very, very important. Where H here. H vertical height of the liquid column only. That is a very, very important point. Vertical height of liquid column. Due to vertical height of the liquid column only, pressure acts at this point. Vertical height of liquid column. Okay, now based on this concept, note 2. Suppose there are different vessels. There are different vessels we have taken. Different shapes. In all vessels having different shapes, they are filled with liquids. They are filled with the same liquid up to same height. They are filled with liquid up to same height. H. Then what is the pressure? Pressure due to liquid column. Pressure due to liquid column on the bottom surface. Here P1, here P2, here P3. So P1, P2, P1, P2, P3 are hydrostatic pressures. Hydrostatic pressures are pressure due to liquid columns only. Pressure due to liquid columns. In all vessels. Okay, then what is the relation among them? What is the relation among them? Here, at this point, pressure means from this bottom, at what height liquid level is there? Same liquids. Density of all liquids are same. Acceleration due to gravity is same, no doubt. Okay, at the bottom, what is the pressure due to liquid column is? Force may be different. I am asking only pressure. Pressure at this point is how much means? You see, pressure at this point means pressure due to liquid column only. So at this point, if you want to find the pressure, from this point, at what height liquid level is there? That is equal to H. Here H, here H. That's why pressures due to all liquid columns are same. P1, P2, P3. All are equal, which is equal to H rho z. That means pressure depends on the vertical height of liquid column only. It does not depend on the shape of the container in which it lies. This is called hydrostatic paradox. So from this it is clear that pressure depends on vertical height of liquid column only. Vertical height, from that point where pressure is to be determined. Pressure depends on vertical height of liquid column, but not on shape of container. But not on shape of container. Okay, it is called hydrostatic paradox. Hydrostatic paradox. So this is also important point. Next. The next point. Suppose in a vessel, the vessel is filled with liquid up to a certain height. Up to a certain height, capital H. Atmospheric pressure P naught acts density of liquid rho at different points in the vessel. At this point 1, at this point 2, at this point 3. What are the pressures? At this point, pressure is P1, here P2, here P3. So this point P1 is at a depth H1. This point P2 is at a height H2 from the bottom. This point P3 is of course at a depth capital H. Now, atmosphere pressure is also given. Atmosphere pressure P naught. So, what is the total pressure at this point 1? Total pressure at 1. At this point 1, what is the pressure? What is the total pressure? Total pressure at 1 is equal to, as atmosphere pressure acts on the surface, the same pressure will transfer to each and every point in the liquid column. That is called the Pascal's law. According to Pascal's law, when you apply the force, when you apply the pressure on the surface of liquid, the same pressure will transfer to each and every point in the liquid column. That is called Pascal's law. That is the, according to Pascal's law, we can say. Okay. Hydrostatic, that phenomenon is called hydrostatic paradox. The pressure due to liquid column does not depend on the shape of the liquid in which vessel it is taken. It depends on only on vertical height. That is called hydrostatic paradox. That is called hydrostatic paradox. Okay. So at this point, what is the pressure means? Atmosphere pressure acts at this point. So P naught plus pressure due to this depth of liquid column, that is H1 into density rho 1 into density rho into C. That is the pressure at the point 1. So what is the pressure at 2? Tell me. What is the pressure at 2? At the second point here, what is the pressure? Atmosphere pressure as usual acts plus pressure due to height of liquid column. From this point, at what height the liquid is there? At this point, at what depth this liquid, this point is there from the surface of the liquid? Tell me. Here, from this point, at this point, in order to find the pressure, atmosphere pressure acts at this point, and pressure due to this height of the liquid column also acts. What is the height of this liquid column from this point? Capital H minus H2, no? Capital H minus H2 gives this depth of this point or height of the liquid column above this point. That's why capital H minus small h2 into density into C. P3, pressure at the bottom is equal to atmosphere pressure P naught plus pressure due to depth of the liquid column H into density into C. Suppose there is a vertical circular tube is there. Vertical circular tube. There is a vertical circular tube. Of course, the radius of the tube is very small compared to the radius of the bore. Radius of this tube is very small compared to the radius of the entire tube. Okay, before that, we have to discuss one more point. Suppose there is a U-shaped tube. There is U-shaped tube. There is a U-shaped tube. Two immiscible liquids are taken. It is one limb and it is another limb. It is one limb, it is another. These are the two vertical limbs of the U-shaped tube and it is the horizontal tube. Okay, here one liquid is taken in this in this vertical limb of the tube, and in this another liquid is taken, so that the liquids are under equilibrium. Whenever two liquids are under equilibrium, here in this liquid level, here this liquid column comes to equilibrium at this position, and this liquid column comes to equilibrium at this position. Okay, the vertical height of this liquid column is say H1. Vertical height of this liquid column is say H2. Density of this liquid column is ρ1. Density of this liquid column is ρ2. Okay. Then what is the relation between H1 and H2? What is the relation between H1 and H2? Tell me. What is the relation between H1 and H2? Whenever the two liquid columns are under equilibrium in U-shaped tube, definitely in the horizontal plane, in the horizontal line, horizontal tube, at every point the pressure must be same. At every point pressure must be same. At A and at B also pressure same. At C also pressure is same. Because it is a horizontal tube. It is a horizontal tube. At any point in the horizontal tube, the pressure must be same. Okay. So here you see on this bottom surface, at this bottom surface, here, at every point, the pressure is same because it is at the same horizontal plane. That's why, as it is the narrow tube, in the horizontal tube, at every point the pressure is same. At this point, pressure is same. Okay, now at this point, what is the total pressure? As the pressures are same here, definitely we can write PA is equal to PV. As these two tubes are open to atmosphere, definitely atmospheric pressure acts on the surface of liquid in this tube and in this tube also. Okay, now total pressure at this point means atmospheric pressure P0 plus at this point pressure due to height of the liquid column. ఇక్కడ పనిచేసే ప్రెజర్ P0 ఈ సర్ఫేస్ మీద పనిచేస్తుంది. The same pressure will act at this point. So P0 plus pressure due to height of the liquid column is H1 ρ1 into C is equal to. At this point pressure means atmospheric pressure P0 plus pressure due to height of the liquid column H2 ρ2 into C. Therefore here P0 cancel, Gg cancel. Therefore H1 ρ1 is equal to H2 ρ2. It is the difference between the heights of liquid columns. You will be given densities of the two liquids. Then what is the heights at which they are under equilibrium? The ratio is how much? H1 by H2 is equal to ρ2 by ρ1. Or H1 by H2 is equal to, we can write ρ2 by ρ1. We can write like this also. This is also important point. Victor. Suppose in the U-shaped tube, two liquids having different densities are taken. Then they are equilibrium. The two liquids are under equilibrium at different heights, so that here you see this is the height of the first liquid column of density ρ1. Here it is density ρ2. Here the height of the first liquid column is H1. This liquid column is H2. This is equal to say H3. from the given diagram. Here, from this position to this position, same liquid is there. Here, this is the under liquid. Whenever the two liquids are taking the two limbs of the U-shaped tube and these are kept vertically, then the liquid column is under equilibrium like this. Liquid column is under equilibrium at this position. Okay, now under equilibrium at every point in the horizontal circle, in the horizontal tube, at each and every point the pressure must be same. No, that is the required condition. Okay, suppose sometimes he will be given only this site only. This site has H3. If this site is not given, suppose if this site is not given and this site is only given, from this point this site is only given. In that case, this height is given as H3. Okay, then what is the height of the liquid column of density rho 1 is taken so that the liquid column is under equilibrium, like this they ask. Okay, now you see, we can take like this also. If we take this distance as H3, how we can do? Here, as this liquid and this liquid both are same, then you take this as the lowest reference line. From this, at this point, both are same pressure. Both are at same pressure because these 2 points are at the same horizontal level. That's why at this point, pressure is same. At this point, pressure means P0 plus H1 rho 1Z. Here, P0 plus H3 rho 2Z we can write. But H3 is not from this point. From this point they given. That's why here, pressure at this point under equilibrium. Liquid మొత్తం ఈక్విలిబ్రియం ఉంది. ఇటువైపు కానీ మూవ్ కావట్లా. సో అండర్ ఈక్విలిబ్రియం అంటే చూడండి ఒకసారి. At this point, if the liquid column is under equilibrium, at this point, due to this pressure of the liquid, at this point, force acts. Due to this liquid column, pressure at this point acts. Due to this liquid column, pressure at this point, due to this liquid column, force acts on this liquid column in upward direction. Due to this pressure at this point, force acts in downward direction. Two forces are equal in magnitude, but opposite in direction. That's why net force becomes zero. So it is under equilibrium. When it is under equilibrium, force by area, force F by area A, that is equal to same due to two liquids at this point. That's why F1 by A is equal to F2 by A. A cancel. F1 is equal to F2. F means, pressure is equal to F by A. F is equal to pressure into A. A is constant. That's why at this point, instead of pressure, we can take the instead of force, we can take the pressure. Similarly, as the heights are given from these points here, pressure at this point and pressure at this point are equal. So pressure at A is equal to pressure at B. What is the pressure at A? Pressure at A means atmospheric pressure P0 acts. Atmospheric pressure also acts here on the two tubes. Okay, that's why atmospheric pressure plus pressure due to this liquid column H1 rho 1Z plus pressure due to this liquid column H2 rho 2Z, because this is same liquid having density rho 2 into Z. Pressure due to this liquid column plus atmospheric pressure P0 plus pressure due to this liquid column is H3 rho 2Z. So P0 cancel. Okay, therefore H1 rho 1Z is equal to H3 minus H2 of rho 2 into Z. GZ cancel. H1 rho 1 is equal to H3 minus H2 into rho 2 we can write. This is the relation we can write. Okay. Next one very important. Definitely they may ask in next exam. Most important. This concept only. Sixth one. Suppose there is a narrow vertical circular tube. Narrow vertical circular tube is there. Okay, it is a narrow vertical circular tube. Narrow vertical circular tube of radius capillary. This width of the tube is negligible. And the radius of cross section of the tube is negligible when compared with this radius. Okay, now it is filled with two liquids. It is filled with two liquids of different densities, so that half of the circumference of the tube is filled with two liquids. Here, okay, here exactly the interface of the two liquids is vertically at the bottom. The interface of the two liquids is at bottom. At bottom we can take, or we can take here. Okay, here up to this interface, here this is the interface of the two liquids. It is the interface of the two liquids. It is O center, it is A, it is B, C, D. Here, one liquid column is from A to B, another liquid column is from B to D. Okay, the angle made by this interface with vertical is theta 1. Angle made by this end of the liquid column with vertical is theta 2. Angle made by this end of the liquid column with vertical is say theta 3. Of course, based on the given diagram, we have to write. Okay, in this way, angles are given. Now, radius is given. So, what about the condition for what is the angle made by this end of the liquid column with vertical? Theta 2 is equal to question mark, or theta 3 is equal to question mark. They may ask like that. Okay, how we can do this problem? How we can do this problem? Here also you see, here also, it is the bottommost point. No? It is the bottommost point. Definitely, as the liquid columns are under equilibrium, at each and every point the net force becomes zero, so that pressure due to liquid columns in one side, pressure due to liquid column on the other side must be same. So it is the bottommost point. At the bottommost point, this liquid column try to push the remaining liquid column in this direction. Due to this liquid column, this remaining liquid column is trying to push in this direction. Due to this liquid column is trying to push in this direction. Due to this liquid column, it is pushed the remaining liquid column in this direction. But even then, as it is under equilibrium, means definitely force due to this liquid column in this direction, force due to this liquid column in this direction, both are equal in magnitude. So whenever forces are equal, force is equal to pressure at this point into area. As the area of cross section for this liquid column are same, then F1 is equal to F2, which is equal to P1, P2. P1 is equal to F1A, P2 is equal to F2A. As F1, F2 are equal, definitely P1, P2 are equal. Pressure at this point due to this liquid column on left hand side of this vertical line and the right hand side of vertical line, pressures must be same. As it is not open to atmosphere, here it is the vacuum only. No pressure is there. Here it is vacuum. Vacuum only. No pressure is there. Okay. Vacuum. At this point, what is the pressure? To find the pressure at this point, we have to find the pressure at this point due to vertical heights of the liquid column only. That is very, very important. Vertical heights of the liquid column only. What, Sriram? What is your doubt? Sriram. Sriram, what is your doubt? Okay, okay. Okay, right. You see, at this point, due to vertical height of the liquid column, what is the pressure we have to find? That is our aim. Here you see, this liquid column is up to this end. This liquid column is up to this end. This liquid column is up to this point. Okay, here this liquid column is up to this point. Okay, from the bottom, what is the height of this liquid column? First liquid column. You see, The height of this vertical height of this liquid column is H1. Here vertical height of this liquid column up to the point C is H2. The height of this liquid column is H3. We are find by geometry. The density of this liquid column is ρ1. Here it is ρ2. Here it is also ρ2 because this and this both are same liquids. Okay, now you tell me at this point what is the pressure? Pressure due to vertical height of this liquid column. The vertical line and on this vertical line, what is the vertical height of this first liquid column? That means this one. Due to this, what is the pressure at this point? H1 ρ1 into Z. H1 ρ1 into Z plus. Due to the vertical height of this liquid column, what is the pressure at this point? Pressure means this height is H2 ρ2 Z. H2 ρ2 Z. It is the total pressure at this point due to this entire liquid column, vertical height of this entire liquid column. That is equal to pressure due to this liquid column at this point means vertical height of this liquid column is equal to ρ2 no, sorry H3 no. That's why H3 ρ2 into Z. As no pressure is here, as it is the vacuum, due to this vacuum, no pressure acts on this surface and on this surface. If any pressure acts, that pressure is to be added here. Here and here we have to add. Here also. Okay. Now you cancel G on all sides, both sides. Then you will get H1 ρ1 plus H2 ρ2 is equal to H3 into ρ2. This is the equation. But here, writing this formula is not asked here. We can write easily. But how we can find H1, H2, H3? That is the important point here. Okay, you see, this is capital, no? This is capital, radius. Then this is equal to R here, where H1, first we have to find H1. What is this H1? What is this H1? You see, H1 means up to this, it is equal to R cos theta 3, no? Because this is R. This is equal to R cos theta 3. This is equal to R cos theta 1. Am I right? మనకి height H1 కావాలండి. How we can write this H1? This is R. That's why this length is equal to R cos theta 3. This length is equal to R cos theta 1. That's why R cos theta 3 plus R cos theta 1 is equal to H1. H1 is equal to R cos theta 3 plus R cos theta 1. That is the height of this liquid column. What about H2? What about H2? Here this is R. This is equal to R cos theta 1, no? Because this is R. If it is R, this is equal to R cos theta 1 because it is right angle triangle. From this R you subtract R cos theta 1. That is equal to H2, no? That's why H2 is equal to R minus R cos theta 1. Okay. Next, what about H3? H3 means here if it is R, it is R cos theta 2. Vertical distance of this, vertical distance here is equal to R cos theta 2. This is R. R minus R cos theta 2 is equal to H3, no? So H3 can be written as R minus R cos theta 2. In this way, by using this data, we have substituted here. Okay, sometimes suppose if they ask H3, then you substitute this H1, H2 in terms of theta 1, theta 3, R. When you simplify them, you will get H3. So based on the question we had to do. But following procedure is this one. The procedure is like this one. Okay. Next, in order to find the atmospheric pressure, what is the device we use? In order to find the atmospheric pressure, what is the device we have to use? We use barometer. So it is the device used to measure the atmospheric pressure. What about the construction of the barometer? Okay, I will say tomorrow because some note points are also here. I will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow is very, very, very important topic. Important concepts are there. Okay, right. I will conclude the class now. Okay, tomorrow there is a very, very important class. Important topics are there. Most of the concepts will be completed by tomorrow class. Okay, right. H.C. Verma is good book because H.C. Verma develops the concepts in depth. But all applications are not enough. H.C. Verma concept develop చేయడానికి బాగా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. Number 1 book. ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని మనం ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ చేయగలం. కాకపోతే ఇంకొన్ని మోడల్స్ మనం డిస్కస్ చేసుకుంటే అంటే ఆ అప్లికేషన్స్ నాలెడ్జ్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని ఇంకొన్ని ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ మనం చేసుకోవాలి. అవి చేసుకుంటే అప్పుడు మనకి అడ్వాన్స్ వాటికి ఉపయోగపడతాయి. ఓకే రైట్.